Hey guys, and welcome to my June wrap-up. I have a guest person and it is Kiki. Kiki, say hi. Say hi. So, in June, I read so many books. I think I read 14 books in total, which is quite crazy with 2 mangas, so let's get down to it. So we'll first start off with the mangas. I read volumes, no, don't ruin my book. Volumes 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 of Parfait Text. So I read 5 volumes of that. And I'm pretty much up to date with the releases. There's still 3 more volumes that aren't out yet, so I really want to get my hands on those so that I can finish this amazing manga shoujo series. And then I also read volumes 2 and 3 of Fruits Basket. Actually, I haven't read this one yet, but it's June 28th, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to read it today because, you know, I really want to get to this series, and I'm only on volume 2 so far, so I will have already read this, and if not, I'll pretty much link it or write it down here. I'm sorry, it's just Kiki's sort of distracting me with all the eating everywhere. Okay. So that's like manga-wise, I read 7 manga volumes in total for the month of June. And moving on to my physical books, I have a ton of physical books. The first one that I read is Hexed by Krys. This is a magic kind of story. I initially had really high hopes for this one, but it didn't really meet up my hopes in that I wanted more magic in the books and I didn't get as much magic as I wanted. And but it reads more like contemporary than like a paranormal magic book, and I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. The next book that I read is Then and Always by Danny Atkins. This is an adult chicklet book. It is from Penguin and it came out in May. I've really wanted to read it. The final cover is pink with just like typography, so it's not this one. And it's short, it's sad. Oh, I cried so much reading this book. I gave it 3.5 stars because the story was frustrating in that it's a very confusing story. And the ending killed me, emotionally killed me, crippled me. I Snapchatted my friend a picture of me crying and my sister, and I'm like, I can't do this. But the writing was kind of hard to get into, and I gave it 3.5 stars. It's enjoyable. The next book that I read is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. This comes out in August from Atria, and August 5th actually from Atria, and I think it was a pretty good book. Way more mature than her Slam trilogy, even more than her Maybe Someday book. I would have liked a warning about that, but I think that the story is very it's very emotional, it's very deep, and I gave 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is Scandal by, her name's Lucy, the main protagonist is called Lucy, but it's by Sarah Ockler. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I already filmed a review of this one that I will be posting soon. I totally loved it. I was a bit wary because her 2 previous books I didn't enjoy as much, but I loved this one so much. It's fluff and, you know, fun, but at the same time, there's a lot of issues that the book deals with, such as slut-shaming and just a lot of things that I really liked. And the characters are all awesome. The introduction of so many new characters, like, I just really love them. And yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. I can't wait for her next book. Then I read Sinner by Maggie Stiefvater. As soon as I got this book in the mail, I was jumping up and down because literally 5 seconds before I saw an Instagram photo of some blogger that I know who lives in Canada, and she got this book from Scholastic Canada. And I'm like, I am so jealous because I want this book so bad. And literally 5 seconds later, my sister walks in with the book in her hand. And I'm like, jump up and down. That's where the jumping up and down happened. And I read this like 3 days later, loved it, read it in a single day. I was obsessed. I still am obsessed. I wrote my written review yesterday and I'm like, dude, I'm not going to point out anything wrong with this book because I'm obsessed with it right now and I love it and there's nothing wrong with it. So, or anything, I didn't have any issues with this book. So 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely better than her Wolves of Mercy Falls trilogy. That trilogy is still good. I really like that trilogy. You can also read this as a standalone. You don't really need to read the first 3 books to read this. I was a bit wary about that one because I read The Wolves of Mercy Falls like, what, 4 years ago? So I don't really remember much. And I loved it. I love Cole, I love Isabel, they're awesome characters. And this talks about Cole from The Wolves of Mercy Falls, and he goes back to LA to win back Isabel. And I just love his snarkiness. I love how charming he is and how cocky he is, but at the same time, he's really honest and real. So really love this book. I read a lot of review books this month, and a lot of them are actually amazing review books that I've been wanting to read. The next book is Midnight Thief by Olivia Blackburn. I requested this from HBG Canada, not knowing it was a Hyperion title, but I did, and I was really excited about this because it's like assassins and like an assassin's guild and, you know, a thief, and she joins them and like conspiracy plots and all that stuff, and it's something that I really like, and it gives me like a historical feel kind of thing. And I was really enjoying it until halfway when this random supernatural fantasy element emerges in the book. And I'm like, where did that come from? I would have liked a warning because that's not what I, signed up for. And the writing was a bit, the writing style was a bit hard to get into and like to stay in it. So I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. The next book that I read, I was jumping up and down when I got it in the mail, and it is Breathe Annie Breathe by Miranda Keneally. Miranda sent me this book because I was just like, dying to get it on Twitter, and she's like, yeah, sure, I can send you one, and I'm like, I love you forever. So she sent me also a couple of bookmarks, and I loved this. I read it the day after I got it, and I read it in a single day. And I think this is her best book from the Oaks Hill High series. And you can see that the cover is a bit different from her other 4, and it's because this sort of diverges a bit from the style of the first 4 books. First of all, the main protagonist is 18 years old and the love interest is like 20 or 21 years old. And this really got to me like emotionally. I teared up so many times and I choked up so many times, and it's just so sad and beautiful. And it talks about this girl called Annie, and she's running a marathon for her boyfriend who's actually training to run that marathon, but her boyfriend passed away. And this is like in the synopsis, so I'm not really ruining anything. And it talks about her journey in, trying to run, how much was it? 26 miles. That's crazy. You can also see her logs. So every chapter or so you get a log because she signs up for this training thing, and you meet a couple of the old people too. But I really loved this. I really loved Annie, and it's just that her emotional journey was really sad and tough, but I liked that she was able to move on. Also, I liked how her boyfriend's parents were so encouraging, and they were always supporting her no matter what, even when, she fell for someone else and all that. So it was really, I really loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Also did a video review of this one. Now moving on to the rest, okay, let's see ebooks, because I'm pretty sure I have some ebooks that I've read, but I don't have. The first one that I read is Ask Again Later by Liz Zukaz. I loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was so much fun and so cute. And I immediately requested her next book, Top 10 Clues, Why I'm Clueless or something like that. So I'm really excited for that one. I also read Blue Notes by Carrie Lofty, and I DNF'd it I think it's like around 300. So I DNF'd it like two-thirds of the way in. I was expecting something very emotional and deep, but all I got was like the current new adult books right now that are just full of explicit stuff and no emotional depth or nothing interesting, and the main protagonist pissed me off a lot, and it's just not something that I enjoyed. And I really wanted to start this because the main protagonist is sort of like a piano prodigy, and it reminds me of Nastia from The Sea of Tranquility, so I'm like, yeah, another book like that, let me read it. But no, she was whining, she barely, didn't like it. Let's not talk about it. I just didn't like it. I DNF'd it. And the last book that I read, it is Huntley Fitzpatrick, What I Thought Was True. This was the June summer pick for the Contemporary Lovers group that I'm, hosting and a part of. And I really enjoyed this. I know a lot of people didn't like this, especially people who don't read contemporary much, because this was more of a discover yourself kind of book, and it doesn't have a concrete plot line, so it's just like going with the flow of, you know, everyday life. And I really like that about this book. I do know that the mystery around the girl and Cass, the guy that she apparently hooked up with before, and we don't know what happened, and then also Spence, who she also had a thing with, and Alex, and I'm like, I'm getting confused. How many guys, and in the span of how long, and who came before who, because I'm so confused. I thought that was kind of unnecessary in terms of, you know, keeping away vital information that everyone knows except the reader. But I really liked everything else. I liked the main protagonist. I liked Cass, the love interest. I liked Nico, who is her cousin. I liked Viv too. And I especially loved Emery, who is the main protagonist's younger brother. And he's so adorable. And I'm going to talk more about this in the live show, which is tomorrow, June 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm probably uploading this tomorrow or after. I don't know. But if yes, I'll leave the live show link below. And I loved it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I actually liked this more than My Life Next Door, which is, I think, a reason why I actually liked it more, because so many people had high expectations for this one because they loved My Life Next Door. But I thought My Life Next Door was good. It was a good contemporary. It wasn't wow. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it, but not memorable or I'll ever reread again. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. And there's 4 more books. Another book is a review book, and it is Longborn by Joe Baker. I kept on getting more books in the mail, and I kept on having to put this down to read the other books. But I am 93 pages in, and I'm really enjoying this. This is more, you know, adult pace. I feel like with adult books, I take my time to read them and, like, you know, digest them and such. So I'm really enjoying this one, and I try to read it when I can. And yeah, I'm going to continue this in July, most likely. So I read 3 non-review books, which is quite sad. But it's okay. Like I said, a lot of my review books were books that I would have read anyways after they came out. So the first non-review book is Broken Hearts, Fences, and Other Things to Mend by Katie Finn, who's Morgan Matson. I got this book from Lynn at Words of Mystery, and I read it. Didn't like it as much. I gave it 3 stars, and mostly because it was very predictable. I'm kind of surprised this came from Morgan Matson, but yeah. The next book that I read is Archetype by M.D. Waters. It's a new adult futuristic suspense debut, and again, Lynn also gave me this copy, so thanks, Lynn. I really enjoyed this one. It reminded me so much of The Host by Stephanie Meyer, and literally 3/4 into the novel, I'm like, what is going on? Because I don't understand. I can't figure this out, and I really liked that part that it was so unpredictable, and I couldn't even fathom what was going on. And it's really good. I can't wait to get Prototype because I'm excited to read it, and it's only a duology. So and it's the first new adult book that's not a contemporary. Like, can we take a second to you know, think about that, because wow, I want more of those. And yes. So the last book in this huge wrap up is none other than Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. Did you expect me not to show this? Really? Because yeah, I've been waiting for this for so long, and it came, and it took me 2 days or 3 days to actually get into it because I was just so afraid of starting it. And I didn't cry reading this book, which is unexpected, but I loved it. I loved it. I don't want to say I would have changed some things. I just love the way Leigh Bardugo was able to please everyone, or all the fandoms, and the pairings, and the OTPs, and all that stuff. But at the same time, she was true to her writing, and to her plot, and to her... It was just perfect. Perfect, 5 out of 5 stars. I'm just so sad this trilogy ended. It's really sad, and I love this. I love this. What more can I say? The Darkling, I love the Darkling. I love Mel. I love Stormhaunt. I love Elena. I love them all. Like, I love them. Like, she's the only one who was able to make me love all 3 guys. Like, that's crazy. So I'm happy with the ending, and I can't wait to read or hear any news about her new duology that is also set in the Grisha world. So yay for that. So this is it. These are all the books. I hope I didn't lose you guys somewhere along there, and whoever stuck with me to the end, thank you for sticking with me to the end. And let me know if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought about them. And I will see you in my TBR. Bye!